You were probably told to find your passion. One thing, one calling, one career path that would define your entire existence. And if you haven't found it yet, you probably feel like you're running out of time. Like everyone else knows exactly where they're going, and you're still searching for that singular purpose that will make everything make sense. But what if the search itself is the problem? What if the idea of one passion, one dream, one identity is not just outdated, but dangerous? Because here's what nobody tells you. The world you were told to prepare for no longer exists. The rules changed, and while you were busy trying to find that one thing you're supposed to do for the rest of your life, the rest of your life became unpredictable. Think about it. You were raised on stories. Stories of people who knew exactly what they wanted at age 7 and never wavered. The doctor who always wanted to heal, the artist who always painted, the entrepreneur who always built. These stories were comforting. They gave life a narrative, a beginning, a middle, and a clear direction. So you started looking for yours, your one thing, the answer to the question everyone keeps asking, what do you want to do with your life? And when you couldn't answer, when you felt pulled in multiple directions, when you were interested in too many things or not deeply obsessed with any one thing, you felt broken, like something was wrong with you, like you were indecisive, unfocused, lost. But you're not lost. You're just living in a different world than the one those stories came from. Because the economy that rewarded single expertise, that valued specialists who did one thing for 40 years, is disappearing. Entire industries are collapsing in a decade. Skills that took years to master are being automated overnight. The job you train for today might not exist in 5 years, and the passion you build your entire identity around could become irrelevant before you even master it. This isn't pessimism. This is pattern recognition. Look at what's happening. AI is rewriting entire professions. Markets shift faster than education systems can adapt. The half-life of a skill is shrinking every year. And if your entire sense of self is tied to one ability, one industry, one dream, you're not building a life, you're building a fragility. Because when that one thing changes, and it will change, what's left? Who are you when your passion becomes obsolete? When the thing you were supposed to do forever is no longer needed? This is the death of the single passion. Not because passion is dead, but because betting everything on one is a losing strategy. The future doesn't belong to people with one skill. It belongs to people with many. Not the jack of all trades who masters nothing, but the person who develops depth in multiple areas, who can connect ideas across fields, who can adapt when the ground shifts beneath them. This is called the M-shaped person, someone with multiple spikes of expertise. You're not shallow, you're not scattered, you're resilient. You build competence in 2, 3, 4 different domains that can feed each other. A designer who understands psychology, a programmer who writes, a teacher who builds businesses. These combinations create value that specialists can't touch. Because the rarest thing in the world isn't depth, it's depth plus breadth. It's being able to operate in multiple contexts, to speak multiple languages, not just verbal, but professional, to move between worlds. And here's the shift. You don't need to find one passion. You need to build one identity that allows for many. An identity not tied to what you do, but to how you think. Not to a job title, but to a capacity to learn, adapt, and create across boundaries. So stop asking, what's my one thing? Start asking, what are my vectors? What directions can I move in that compound over time? What skills overlap? What knowledge transfers? What version of me can exist in 5 different futures without falling apart in any of them? Here's how you start. First, give yourself permission to be interested in more than one thing. This isn't lack of focus. This is intellectual range. The shame you feel about having multiple interests is a borrowed belief from a world that no longer exists. Let it go. Curiosity across domains is an asset now, not a weakness. Second, build in parallel, not in sequence. Don't wait to master one thing before exploring another. Let them grow together. Let them inform each other. The musician who studies neuroscience doesn't divide his focus, they multiply it, because the insights from one field feed the other, and the combination becomes something nobody else has.
Third, stop building your identity around what you do and start building it around how you evolve. Your value isn't in being the best at one thing, it's in being someone who doesn't break when the landscape changes, someone who can see connections others miss, someone who can pivot without losing themselves. This doesn't mean abandon depth, it means expand your definition of it. Depth isn't 20 years doing the same thing, it's 20 years learning how to learn, how to adapt, how to become valuable in ways that aren't tied to a single market, a single skill, or a single version of the world. Because the world you're preparing for isn't stable, it's not predictable, and it doesn't care about your one dream. But it desperately needs people who can hold multiple truths, who can build across disciplines, who can survive the collapse of one path because they already built 3 others. The death of the single passion isn't a loss, it's a liberation, because you were never supposed to be just one thing. You were supposed to be many things. And the sooner you stop searching for the one answer, the sooner you realize you were never meant to find it. You were meant to build it, over and over, in as many forms as the future demands. And that's not uncertainty, that's power.